Okay, I think I think now we're live. I'm not sure. I think so. I don't know. I had some technical difficulties. I don't know. I may have been live for over a minute. I don't even goddamn know. But with that said, well, hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass live in living color here with you on Grande's Graveyard. And we are live tonight. We are halfway through Shocktober, Rocktober season. And man, things are just incredible. I hope everybody else is doing really well out there. I've just been really enjoying my spooky season lately. I've just been watching so much horror content, like at least one a day. And then if work doesn't kick my ass too much, I'm watching more than that. So I'm just chilling like a villain tonight. And I figured why not do, because it's the halfway point in the month, why not do a show where I pick names out of not a hat, not a Tales from the Dark Side hat. No, no, no. I'm talking about a pumpkin. Yes, we have put names in the pumpkin here. I'm going to be picking them out, and each card that I have in this pumpkin has a movie on it, and I can give you a little bit of my thoughts. You guys can give me your thoughts. If you guys want a certain movie for me to touch on or talk about, you can say it in the comments. We can talk all night long about horror goodness, man. So I got my man Pete the Pumpkin with me. This is really retro right here. I mean, look at this son of a bitch. Oh my god. Like, okay, so on this side he's looking okay, right? Like there's no wear on this side. This is old school. This is like from probably the late 90s, this fucking thing. And on this side you see the wear and tear, man. Pete the Pumpkin has been through the ringer, but I don't know. I just figured like why not bring this out and bust names out of the pumpkin for the show. I figured it would be a fun time discussing all things horror and making it spontaneous and random at that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Aiden Vavers and Naheezy, what's going on, good brother? Neon Black Reviews, what's going on, my friend? Dude, been really enjoying your Elm Street reviews. If you guys have not checked out Neon Black Reviews channel, his stuff is excellent. He's reviewing the Masters of Horror season 2 and now the Elm Street, the entire franchise. All those videos have been excellent, man. Watching John Carpenter's Vampires. Love that film. Dude, John Carpenter's Vampires is excellent. Actually, I fucking regret not putting that in the pumpkin now. That's a really good one. I have the DVD somewhere of that. That's a really, really good one. I believe, if I'm not wrong, I believe Shout Factory threw that one out. I think. I don't know if somebody can confirm that. I think there's a Shout Factory special edition, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Vampires is dope. I agree. Ryan Snyder, Naheezy, what's going on, good brother? What's up, Pajama Pants Play? I'm watching some new Blumhouse on Amazon, drinking some whiskey. Oh shit, fucking A, man, that sounds like a combo. Are they on Prime or do you have to pay for each one? Like I wasn't sure because I don't know. I'm not too big on his stuff, but I know that if it's free, I mean, I guess it's worth a shot, right? But if it's $20 each to rent shit, I don't know, man. I think that's bogus. I'll wait for the fucking movie theaters to come back. I miss the movie theaters. Yeah, for real, for real. That is awesome, awesome stuff. There's 4 new ones on Prime. Oh, okay, so they're free to watch on Prime. That's pretty sick. That's actually really sick. I may have to check one out. If you have one you recommend you think I like, let me know, man, because I would totally trust your opinion on one that you think I'd like. I bought the Shout Factory Blu-ray today. It looks excellent. Oh, dude, that's sick. Okay, so Vampires on Blue, Shout Blue, that's badass. I know they just had a monster sale, and I think it ends in a couple days on the 17th. So right now, fucking Shout Factory is having a crazy ass sale. I haven't really bitten on any of it. I should probably pick up Candyman. Like that one, I definitely should have because it's like next to nothing on Blu-ray. I'd love to get that one. And I don't know. I definitely there's a lot of titles on there. There may be one that I may have in the pumpkin here. I don't own it, but I definitely want to discuss it. So that's going to be a surprise. There's a Shout Factory release. Maybe even more than one. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I don't know. But we will totally get into that. So Ryan says there's 4 new ones on Prime in AST. Watch the Lie. Watch the Lie. Okay, the Lie is the one you recommend. All right, so I will throw that on the Halloween list of havoc, baby. Yeah, Candyman looks excellent on Blu-ray. You dude, absolutely. Candyman's a fucking classic. I will have to pick that one up for sure. But I figure we're a good 5 minutes in, man. Let's get started. Let's pick some names out of Pete the Pumpkin. I'm gonna mix them all up here. This is gonna be totally fucking random. I know some of the movies in here. Obviously, I made the cards, but what order they're gonna come out, I don't know. So we're gonna take first card out here. And what do we got? Oh man, we are starting off with a Rocktober fucking classic, man. This is a little G-rated horror. I know there are going to be some hardcore, our NC-17 people that are going to go, I'm not watching that bullshit. But if you want to be scared off your rocker and you want to see some awesome fucking G-rated horror, you look no further than this one. You look no further than The Haunted Mask. Excuse my bad handwriting, this chicken scratch shit. I can't help it. The people in accounting get really pissed at me at work, but I can't help it, okay? I have like third grade handwriting, man. But at least I can read, right? I mean, step up in the world. The Haunted Mask, though. The Haunted Mask is anything and everything that you want when it comes to spooky season watching, right? So it basically tells the story of this girl, and she's being bullied in school, and she just has had enough of it, man. She's get every single day. Lori Beth is the scaredy cat. Lori Beth is this. Lori Beth is that. And she is just, or is it Carl? I think it's Carly Beth. It's actually Carly Beth. Carly Beth is scared. Carly Beth is a bitch. All this stuff about poor Carly Beth, and she gets scared by these boys at lunch, and they're putting bugs in her lunch, and she has just absolutely had enough of it. So one day she's walking home and she visits this kind of peddler shop where they have all these really scary horror masks. And she wants to buy this one in the back. And she goes, that's the mask. That mask is going to make kids fear me. It's going to make them respect me. It's going to make them shit their pants in fright, right? So the peddler goes, no, like, I can't sell it to you. It's too scary. It's too powerful. And she basically steals the mask, takes it home, and decides, I'm going to scare the shit out of some people. Basically, puts the mask on and realizes that the mask itself may just be controlling her on this awesome Halloween night. Yes, the Haunted Mask. I adore this episode of Goosebumps, man. I know a lot of people are saying in the comments, hell yeah, Goosebumps. Dude, Goosebumps is my shit too, man. My shit is your shit. It's the best. Haunted Mask was very well done. I love how the mask plays on the insecurities and uses that to consume you. Exactly. See, this is an episode all about the horrors of wanting that to exact that revenge, right? And it's in a similar fashion to a movie like Spider-Man 3, where Peter Parker gets the symbiote suit and he feels good, he feels strong, but the evil is taking over. And it's this girl's desire to get revenge against these high school bullies that ultimately leads to her slowly going down the insanity path. And man, I think this is anything that you could want from a Halloween episode of anything. It has it all. It has all the kids that are trick-or-treating in the neighborhood. It has the candy. It has all these really fun one-liners. And man, I don't know. I really enjoy this episode of Goosebumps. And I do think at times it can be very scary. Like, it changes Carly Beth's voice and she's sounding like more of a monster as the episode progresses. And there's points where she freaks out. She's like, I can't get it off. It's melding to my skin. And it's just horrifying, man. It has a really, really good pace to it. It's creepy. It's a two-parter. And I also know they made a sequel to it, The Haunted Mask Part 2, which I don't mind that one, but the original is always the best in this case. And man, The Haunted Mask is an excellent, excellent Halloween Rocktober pick to watch, especially if you're a G-rated horror fan. If you want to watch something a little bit more lighthearted, maybe a little bit of something with the kids that'll make them shit their pants, but not make them run out of the room, The Haunted Mask is just the one for you. So yeah, man, I am a huge fan of The Haunted Mask. Yeah, Goosebumps is dude, I love that one too, man. I'm too old for Goosebumps. AJ's not too old for Tales from the Dark Side, though. I know he was a kid when this came out, but man, yeah, I was just growing up when Goosebumps premiered, so I remember that one always scaring the shit out of me. I always loved One Day at Horrorland. I loved the one, it was like Night of Living Dummy. That's a classic. How to Kill a Monster, Night of the Jack-o'-lanterns. There's so many fucking fun ones, man. The Goosebumps is awesome. Yeah, yeah. It's I have a couple in here that I'm shaking this up a little bit. I have some TV horror flicks, have some after dark horror flicks, have some vampire flicks. Like, I just tried to, not give the ones that everybody would know. Like, to me, it's just cliche to come on here and go, watch John Carpenter's Halloween, watch Trick or Treat. Like, everybody fucking knows to watch those. Like, I don't have to sing or bear to repeat that. Like, you just know. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do this, and Pete the Pumpkin helping me keep it random here. We're gonna go into the jar, baby, the Jack-o'-lantern himself, to pick another one. And what do we have here? Oh my goodness, another fucking classic. This one's very R-rated. This one is a lot of fun, and this one is Night of the Demons. Yes, Night of the Demons from 1988, written and directed by the legendary Kevin S. Tenney, starring Hal Havins and, of course, the voluptuous Linnea Quigley, baby. I would dance with her all night. I'd dance to her on a grave till dawn. What's the matter, bitch? What's the matter? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life. That's a different movie. But I do love Linnea Quigley and all of her voluptuous titties and ass and hoariness. I adore it, man. Linnea Quigley is a goddamn legend. And this movie's no exception. Night of the Demons. This is just another really, really good one to watch around the Halloween season. And honestly, I know there's big fans of this one. I know people love this one, but at the same time, I don't know if it really gets the respect it deserves. Like, it's kind of one of those movies. It's like, oh yeah, I like that one. It's kind of just, stiff arm to the side. Not quite a Derrick Henry stiff arm. If you saw that Tuesday night game, you know what I'm talking about. That was the craziest stiff arm I've ever seen in my life. He ended that man's career, threw him into the fucking suites, man. That was crazy. But man, I think this movie doesn't get the respect it deserves. And I just adore everything about Night of the Demons. It basically tells the story of these 10 kids, and they're all looking to party in a Halloween house. And they go to this kind of abandoned place, and they decide, while we're dancing and strobing and partying and drinking and whatnot, we hop in and do a seance and basically conjure these demons from the dead who one by one start to take over, possess, kill, and fright them to death. And man, it's just Night of the Demons is a bunch of fucking fun, man, because it has all the elements that you want in a Halloween horror movie, right? You have all these kids dressing up in the costumes, the cheesy 80s one-liners. Eat a bowl of fuck. I'm here to party. Hal Havins steals the fucking movie. The fat dude with the pig nose and the pig costume. Hal Havins is my hero. He still is to this day my hero. Like the fat, cool, funny guy in a horror movie. That's like always what I aspired to be. One of these days, I want to see a fat horror person survive, like the fat dude comic relief. I want to see him survive and become like the hero at the end, man. That would be freaking amazing. So I definitely love the Hal Havins character. And of course, you have this awesome seance. You have everybody dressed in these kind of memorable outfits. Like one guy's a pirate, one chick's Alice from Alice in Wonderland. You have a witch. You have, of course, Linnea Quigley just basically dressed as a whore, and you have some pretty genuinely terrifying scenes. You have this scene where Linnea Quigley, she like puts her thumbs in this guy's eyes, and they do this great practical gore effect of just the blood going all over the fucking place. And man, it's a fun. I saw somebody say this in the comments. Yes, it's a fun, cheesy 80s horror at its fucking best, man. It's not uber serious. It's a movie you can watch with friends, maybe some pizza, maybe some popcorn, maybe some dooskies and brewskis. You can just throw it on, turn the old brain off. You don't have to think about nothing here, and just enjoy and like remember the times that you've had on Halloween in the past. This movie brings me back to every Halloween party I've ever been to and will ever be to. It's just there's a magic about it that way. And I think Kevin S. Tenney is one of those guys. He really knows what to deliver when it comes to a fun horror movie. He's not going to beat you over the head with any messages. He's just going to give you fun, memorable characters, fun one-liners, fun atmosphere and aesthetic and all that stuff. And man, Night of the Demons is exactly that. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That burp came out of nowhere. But yeah, man, I'm a big fan of Night of the Demons. I think it's a lot of fun. The characters are just memorable as hell. And I don't know. It's one I always watch around October season. As a matter of fact, I was watching it before I started the show tonight. So it's crazy that's the second one out of the pumpkin, but I guess that's how fate would have it, right? I'm a huge fan of it. Yes, I just saw this one for the first time recently, and I loved it. I love not only did we get a final girl, but a black dude survives too, and that old bastard getting a razor pie, dude. Yeah, I always thought that was so fucking random that was in there. That old dude with the razor pie, so strange. But yes, this is one of the only slashers where you get a final girl and the black dude make it. I always thought that was crazy. It's funny. The final girl in this one, she's pretty, but she's definitely like one of the weakest characters in the film. Like she has no strength or oomph to her. It's weird. Like to me, Hal Havins, Linnea Quigley fucking steal it. Like I eat up all their scenery. And I know Arab from fucking Sleepaway Camp 3 is in it. I don't know the actress's name, but she's in it, man. I'm always like, Arab. Like every time I see this movie, I'm like, that's fucking Arab, man. She did that and Sleepaway Camp 3 back to back. Now talk about two classic 80s horror films, man. That's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Dude, yeah, it would be a hell of a double bill, man. Hell Night, Linda Blairific, baby. I'm a huge fan of Hell Night. Another one, though, I should have threw that in the fucking pumpkin, man. I'm a huge fan. I could talk about it a little bit. I'm a big, big fan of Hell Night. It's one of the great under talked about slashers from, I believe, the year 81. I think it was 1981. I think Hell Knight's 1981. If I'm wrong, if I'm off a year or so, whatever. But Hell Knight's a really, really good one, starring Linda Blair. I think Bob DeSimone was the writer. I think he was the writer. He's also the same guy who is in Friday the 13th Part 5 and gets the axe to the head. Hey, Lana! Today's forecast, snow flurries up your nose. I love that guy's fucking great, man. I love that he was involved with Hell Night. Two of my favorite slashers, Friday 5 and Hell Night. Super cool, man. What are my thoughts on the sequels and the remake? Love the second one. The second one is a fucking blast. I think the second one is a ball. Really, really good one. The sequels after that, 3 and 4, I've seen them once and I don't remember much. I'd have to honestly give them a rewatch. As for the remake, I believe wasn't Serena Vincent in the remake, the chick from Cabin Fever and like Return to House on Haunted Hill. She's a really beautiful woman. I'm not positive. I think she was in it. And it wasn't like Bruce Willis's daughter in it. I don't fucking remember liking it. Shannon Elizabeth might have even been in that remake. I don't know. I could be totally screwing this up. I don't know. But I don't remember anything from it. I remember watching it on Showtime one night and just being not impressed. It was a similar like reaction I had to the Sorority Row remake. I was like, this is fucking not Sorority Row. Like it just doesn't have that oomph that the original does. And it's the same thing with that remake. It has no oomph to it, no memorability, no one-liner you remember, no death scene you remember. It's just very unmemorable. That's what I kind of think of that remake. Not the worst remake in the world, like statistically or filmmaking from a filmmaking perspective. Just a movie that no oomph to it at all. And man, sometimes that's even worse than being bad because at least you remember bad. When the movie is just flat, I mean, you know, you're not going to go back to watch it. Something bad, you're just like, shit, like, what the fuck? Like, I need to go back and see how bad that was. Night of Demons 2 is my shit. Dude, love Night of Demons 2. That's a fucking great sequel. That's another perfect one to watch around this time of the year. I just always watch the first one for some reason. All Elm Street Warriors here. What's on going on, good brother? Hope all is well. Jill Marcia, I think is her name. Arab. Oh, dude, yo, Arab. Arab's my gal, man. A huge fan of Arab. Edward Furlong, the main chick from Freddy vs. Jason and Shanna. Yeah, I don't fucking remember Edward Furlong being in it. That's crazy. Jill Terashita. Okay, Jill Terashita, man. Gotta love me some Arab. She is awesome. And it was always fun to see her in this movie, Night of the Demons. That's another one I highly, highly recommend. Really, really good one. So we're going to go back to the pumpkin. Oh, I picked it up the wrong way. Yes, Pete the Pumpkin. What does he have in store for us next? Let's see. Oh, I picked up two, but we're going to go with the top one. Oh, we're going to have one that I watched just last night. This is actually freaking crazy. It is from 2006. This is a slasher movie that I'm going to bring up. And I know a lot of people think Halloween and slasher movies, we're usually going to talk about Michael Myers. No, we're going to do another out of the box one. This was one of the original 8 films to die for, and it is none other than 2006's horror effort from director, I think Craig Singer, I believe his name was. It is Dark Ride. Yes, Dark Ride from 2006. Another one that nobody ever fucking mentions, man. I am a pretty big fan of this one. I think this is a really kind of fun, atmospheric, carnival-esque slasher, and it's one that, weirdly enough, I always watch it around this time of the season. It stars Jamie Lynn Sigler from The Sopranos. It stars Patrick Renna from The Sandlot. That's right, Ham Porter himself is one of the leads in this, is the fat kid from The Sandlot. Everybody always remembers him. And in movies like The Big Green. And this movie has actually a great cast. I know Ashley Tisdale's sister is in this one. Yeah, oh, Neo Black Reviews yeah, that is the one with Meadow Soprano in it. It is. Yeah, she is the lead final girl in this, which I always thought was really cool. Yeah, I think it's a really good one. I can give a little bit of the plot synopsis here. This one basically tells the story of, once again, a big group of kids. And one night they're traveling across country on spring break and they decide, hey, why don't we spend the night in like a haunted dark ride house, right? So we want to save money on a hotel. We're just going to go spend the night in this like creepy little dark ride, which was, something that was really big back in the 80s. These haunted house. When I was a kid, they were called haunted house rides, but in the 80s, they were called dark rides. And you'd go on them and it'd take you through this haunted house and you'd be in this little cart and it would bang through these big doors and you see all this horrifying stuff. And basically, they get there and Patrick Renna gives us the kind of whole slasher backstory where long, long ago, these two girls got on the dark ride and they were gutted. They were fucking disemboweled by this crazy dude named Jonah. And legend has it that Jonah, it was in a mental asylum and Jonah escaped. And maybe, just maybe, Jonah is here tonight to pick us off one by one. I know that when this came out, a lot of people will say, generic, it's been done, same shit, different day, it's fucking played out. I know a lot of people will give you that review of this movie. And honestly, you're not going to see anything here that you haven't seen in a movie like The Funhouse. You're not going to see anything here that's groundbreaking. But at the same time, you can hear me out here. I do think this one has a phenomenal atmosphere, and it's a really good uses of colors and lights where these kids are going room to room. There's one room where it's really, really, this like kind of mystical red, and there's one room where it's this bright, vibrant blue. It's almost like House of a Thousand Corpses if the entire movie took place on the murder ride, if you will. And it has that kind of look and aesthetic to it. And I don't know, I like the kills in this one. I think the characters are a lot of fun. There's one guy, he's getting a blowjob, and the killer comes in and he's like, oh, he's getting a blowjob, and the fucking killer like starts to cut off her head as she's blowing him. He's like, oh, you're gonna make me come. And the killer decapitates this girl and he's like, oh, and he picks up the head. He's like, oh shit. Like, I don't know why that one always fucking gets me, man. That's a great slasher kill, man. Just to get, like, this, my dude's getting head from this hot hitchhiker chick, and all of a sudden, bam, boner killer, a literal boner killer, if you will. And man, I love that kill. I thought that the legend that they established was very good, and in a similar vein to a movie like Mad Men, where something happens long, long ago, and something crazy happened, and now we're here years and years later, and some shit's gonna go down again. I like that formula. I know it is played out, and I know it is cliche, but in my humble opinion, when it's fun, when it's done right, when it has good atmosphere, and granted, the acting in this isn't fucking Oscar worthy. I won't say that. But they're colorful characters again. You remember all of them. You remember the fucking slutty hitchhiker chick. You remember Meadow Soprano just for being like, what the fuck was she thinking doing in this movie? You remember the fucking fat kid from The Sandlot telling the story of Jonah in the fun, or I want to say the fun house, the dark ride. I don't know. I have a good time with this one. I think it's a fun slasher movie to watch around this time of the year. And when you can watch Halloween's 1 through, I think there's 11 Halloween movies now. We all know to watch those. I always watched 1 through 5 or even 1 through 6, especially. I think part 6 is one of the best ones to watch in the Rocktober season. But man, I just figured I'd give everybody a little bit of a different slasher movie to watch around this time of the year. I think Dark Ride's excellent. I know the horror boy, my good buddy Nate, he's a big fan of Dark Ride. And I thought it was a really fun kind of retro, throwing it back to the 80s slasher style. And man, I really enjoyed it. I thought it had good kills, good atmosphere, good characters, fun. It's a movie that breezes the fuck by. It's not one of those movies you watch and you're like, oh, I'm waiting for something to happen. No, like the shit, it has a good pace to it, I think. And I don't know, man. I think it's a little bit underrated. It's one that got ceremoniously shit on when it came out, and I don't know. I would take it over a movie like Hellfest any day, and I know that's one that just recently came out because that one they played it like Michael Myers. Let's not say anything. There's no legend, and the twist at the end of that movie was he was just a normal guy who had a family and shit. No, like I want to have fun when I'm watching my slasher films, man. And Dark Ride is just that. Highly recommend Dark Ride. It has a batshit twist towards the end, and you'll definitely see it coming. But man, it's fucking funny. Like I totally enjoy it, man, for sure. Soul Strand, you play ball like a girl, and that to be said that to the fucking killer, like the killer's like has him, you play ball like a girl. That would be absolutely amazing, man. And the decapitation blowjob kill is fucking great. Like and it's really gory. And most of this movie does use practical gore effects. I don't think there's a stitch of CGI in this. There's this one that's just a security guard who he's like trying to help them, and he gets his head split in half. Like it just cleaver right in the center, and his fucking whole head opens up, and he just buckles to his knees. It's crazy fucking gore. Again, one that nobody talks about. Like, this is one of those movies where I hear people talk about Hatchet, which came out the same year, and I just scratch my head. I'm like, why are you going apeshit about Hatchet when a movie like Dark Ride is 10 times better, has a better origin, a more interesting killer who wears the baby face mask, which is I always thought was genius fucking psychology. Let's put him in a baby face mask, obviously the most innocent looking thing, and make it horrifying. I like the psychology in a movie like this way better. And I think the gore, while it's not as extreme, or I would say it's not as good as the gore in Hatchet, but this movie has everything better. It's actually scary in spots. It actually knows what it wants to be, which is a fun horror movie, but not a comedy like Hatchet. Hatchet's a fucking comedy. This movie, it has some laughs. There's a point where they go to pick up the hitchhiker, and they're like, "You're gonna go pick up that hoe?" And he goes, "Where the fuck do you expect her to be? Times Square?" Like, I love some of the fucking banter, and this is a lot of fun. And I don't know, Patrick Renna plays this whole film geek thing, and I enjoy this movie, man. I'm just my cup of tea of a slasher film for sure. So that is Dark Ride from 2006, and now we go back into the pumpkin of fun, baby. This is a lot of fun. I like doing it random like this because this way I don't really have time to prepare or anything like that. And ooh, we picked another one out of the hat, or Pete the Pumpkin, if you will. This is one that I would say this you could watch this any time of year. This is not like a movie you have to watch in October or anything. But it's one that I recently revisited, and man, I don't know why this time I really liked it way more the second time around. And it is from famed Italian director, filmmaker Ruggero Deodato. It is from 1993. Yes, it was his last film before a very long film hiatus. It is The Washing Machine. Yes, from 1993, written and directed by Ruggero Deodato, one of my favorite Italian, or just in general, horror filmmakers of all time. Of course, the man who brought us House on the Edge of the Park, Cut and Run, Body Count. Body Count's a great one to watch, a great slasher movie to watch around the Rocktober season. And of course, the infamous, I mean, you can never go without mentioning Cannibal Holocaust from 1980. I mean, one of the horror movies that just changed the landscape of horror and changed the cannibal genre. It really set the standard. Ruggero Deodato's work cannot be understated. The guy is an absolute fucking legend. But there's one movie on here that nobody really ever talks about in his filmography, and it is this one, The Washing Machine from 1993. Another really underrated movie in my opinion. It basically tells the story of, in the opening scene, this guy is hitting on this woman. She goes home with him, and he kind of convinces her, "Hey, let me have sex with you right here." You see that the woman has two sisters, and they're watching kind of mysteriously as he's having sex with this woman in the fridge, I mind you. So that this movie is very fucking sleazy, I'll tell you that much. They're having sex, and then he leaves, finishes his business, and the very next day they find his body in the washing machine. He was murdered brutally, and it's up to this detective to find out who did it, why they did it, and how they pretty much just mangled the guy and got him into this washing machine. Now, the rest of this movie kind of plays out as a really sleazy slash gory who done it. This is a really, really good Deodato film, in my opinion, as the detective kind of interviews each sister and goes to different places with them talking about the murder that was committed. And we, as the audience, are asked which one of these three bitches did it. And I really like the psychology here again, too, because it really plays all the sisters against one another. You would think, oh, it wasn't my two sisters. No, all three of them throw the others under the bus. Like, no, it was these two bitches. Like, trust me, it was these two. So I enjoy the interrogation scenes. I enjoy that they really try to seduce this guy, and we don't know as an audience, because each one of these sisters has such a distinct personality. Like, one of them's really like kind of quiet and weird, and she plays the cymbals and shit. There's a scene, a really funny cameo with Deodato himself, where she goes to the detective's doors with the cymbals, and you see a guy peek out of his door, and he's like, "Stop the noise!" And it's Ruggero Deodato. I thought that was a brilliant cameo. And man, yeah, it's really sleazy flick. I mean, this is as sleazy as flicks get without being fucking straight up porn. I mean, there's some crazy ass scenes. There's a scene where this one of the sisters, she works for like helping the blind, and they take the blind to this museum. And she starts talking to the detective, and she's like, "Why don't you take me right here?" And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Why don't you take me right here?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And then it's just, it's fucking, I don't know, it's just wild. Sorry for the background. I don't know if you can hear that, but oh my god, dude, he ends up having sex with this woman in front of this, like, all these museum exhibits, in front of these blind people who don't know what's going on. It's absolutely goddamn insane, and only Ruggiero Diodato can get away with it. I absolutely adore The Washing Machine. I thought it was a really, really fun watch, and it's another one, again, that's a batshit crazy ending that I know. I guess some people would probably say you could see coming. I was fucking kind of floored the first time I watched it, and because of the long layoff, I hadn't really remembered exactly what the ending was. So I thought this was a really good one. Had creepy music, creepy atmosphere, and a really good kind of pace and question and mystery to it. I thought this was a really kind of a fun, sleazy, slashing Italian whodunit. And man, I enjoyed it. In some ways, kind of a giallo, kind of a really latter stage giallo, because giallo was really booming in the 70s, even in the late 60s, or even the 60s. Yeah, the 60s as a whole, and into the, kind of died a cruel death and towards the mid 80s. But this was one of the last kind of old school kind of giallo films, and man, Ruggiero Diodato just nailed it. It's one of those movies that I watch and I'm like, why did you take off directing after this? Like, I would have kept going. It's awesome flick, man. I know Shameless has a Blu-ray of it out, and has an excellent cover where it's the guy in the dead in the washing machine, and it says Ruggiero Diodato, and Diodato, it's all like laundry knobs. Always thought that was really cool, man. I like that cover from Shameless. That's one I definitely have to pick up. So that is The Washing Machine from 1993. Back into the pumpkin. Oh, fuck. Oh, yes. We got a good one here, ladies and gentlemen. This is one that I actually watched a couple nights ago. This is actually another one of the 8 films to die for. I think this was one of the original 8. I'm not, it might have been, this might have been year 2. I'm not sure. I think it was one of the original 8, though. This is another one from 2006. This is The Grave Dancers. Ooh, yeah, The Grave Dancers. Yet another very underrated little horror flick, in my opinion. This this one, and it's another one that I know that it may not be the biggest budgeted film, and I know that it may not have the greatest effects in the world, and I know that this may not be the best, most capable director. I think actually is the same guy that went on to do some of the Sharknado. I believe was the guy that went on to do Sharknado movies, if I'm not mistaken. If you want, somebody can correct me if you want. I think so though. I know he made like a giant spider movie after this too, which it's a shame to see where his career went after this movie. But I really like this one. This is The Grave Dancers, and it basically tells the story of these 3 friends. And in the opening scene, you see that they're at one of their other friends' funeral, and they all kind of get together in this bar, and they're all really kind of telling sad sob stories about back when the 4 of them were together and hanging out and in high school and all this stuff. And they say, hey man, why don't we go out to his grave and get one last drink with this guy? It's one of our best friends for life, and why don't we have one last toast and celebration with him? And they all agree, and they go, and they find this little note card on the guy's grave, and has this whole kind of uh, I guess song on it. And it says, if you, like, something along the lines of, if you want to really live your life, dance ye souls on this resting spot. And they all decide, why don't we just celebrate this guy's life? And they turn up the music and they start dancing in the graveyard, partying, drinking. A couple of them make out, and it's a fun little scene. You go to find out that because they danced on graves, it caused burial desecration, and these people that were buried in the ground come out to haunt them. And I really like the setup to this one a lot. This one feels really 80s. This one, it gives me the Gate vibes from 87. I'm a big fan of the Gate. Again, another great one to watch around this time of the year, the Gate from 87. That's a great flick. And I love that one by one, each one of them is haunted, but by different people, whoever's grave they danced upon. So this one guy, he's haunted by this little kid who burned his house down and killed his whole family. And so every time he's kind of in an enclosed space, a fire could randomly start. And the guy freaks out and he's like, dude, I'm gonna get burned alive. Like, this is terrifying. And you have one girl who she disturbed. It was this guy who was charitable and good to the community and all this stuff, but secretly in the closet, he was a serial killer. Really cool stuff. And then the other guy, he's one of those, he has like this infidelity case where this husband and wife were together. Of course, he cheated on the wife, and then she came in, killed them both with an axe. And when they found her, she was playing the piano with a big grin on her face. So all three of these kind of ghost legends play a factor into this movie, and they meet up with this paranormal team, and they're trying to figure out how they can survive it and whatnot. And they try all of this stuff. What if we reburied it? What if we did this? What if we did that? And it's basically them trying to do all this stuff while being trying to avoid death and being haunted by these ghosts. And man, again, just a fun movie, just a really fun kind of easy hour and a half flick. And once again, like I said, the acting isn't the greatest. The I do think the director does a good job. I think it's a creepy film at times. There's some crazy ass scenes in this where this one woman's in bed and she's just kind of laying down, and she thinks that her guy is with her, and it turns around and it's the woman from the fucking who was playing the piano, and it's like it chases her throughout the house. Really scary shit, man. This one has a pretty decent creep factor to it, and I think that's why I always go back to this one around the Rocktober season. It's on Amazon Prime. I know it's free on Prime, so you can give this one a look. This is one of those A films to die for that I just feel like unfortunately gets a lot of shit. And I know that allows movies, some of them do deserve the shit, but this one I kind of like. I have fun with this one, man. I really do. I think that it was a good kind of original take. Like I don't know if I've ever seen a movie quite like this that tackled the same theme. Now, in the hands of a better director, maybe this would have been a huge movie. Maybe in the hands of a James Wan, this would have been a crazy big movie. But I don't know. I kind of enjoy it for what it is. I kind of enjoy it for what we got. I think it has some genuinely creepy moments. I think it has a good original idea. And towards the end, it really feels like the original Evil Dead with its whole finale. It's the original Evil Dead if it was all CGI with its ending. And I know I am a big hater of CGI, but I do think for this movie, for some reason, the bad, fun CGI kind of works. I'm a big fan of the Grave Dancers. Really, I don't get the hate for this one. That's another one that I think is Prime, literally, Amazon Prime to watch around this time of the year. So I highly recommend the Grave Dancers. I think that's a really, really good one. A lot of picks I haven't seen. Loving the new suggestions. Very cool. God bless, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Soulless Trenchcoat. Yeah, I figured I'd keep it. I wanted to shake things up. Like I feel like every year people just give the same one. Watch Halloween. Well, no fucking shit. Like I don't know, man. Ty Junebug's Films is here. Good brother, how are you? I haven't seen you forever. Hope all is well with you, man. Hope you're staying safe and staying healthy and kicking ass and taking names as always, man. How have you been? Hopefully good. The After Dark horror films were overhyped with the marketing saying they were too scary for theaters, and a lot of people were just disappointed. Most of the films really weren't that bad, though. Yeah, it's funny. Like, there's a few I really like. I really like Autopsy. That was with Jessica Lowndes and of course Robert Patrick from T2. And I there's a lot of those movies I really, really enjoy. Unrest. There's some really good ones of those After Dark horror films. And I know what you mean. They were overhyped. They were too scary. They weren't mainstream enough for theaters. That's what they were. But in their defense, and I always say this, and one day I should do a show where I rank them all. I would love to like look at all these individually and do ranking. I think there's 33 of them. There's 32, and then I know there's one unofficial, which is Martyrs. Is it Martyrs? No, it's not Martyrs. It's Frontiers. Frontiers, which actually, spoiler, I don't like Frontiers at all. I thought Frontiers sucked. Martyrs I like. But yeah, it's funny. It's just like I think in a time where you had all these remakes, you had Black Christmas the remake, Halloween the remake, Texas Chainsaw the New Beginning, like you had all Hatchet, like all these movies that like I don't know, man. To me, they don't age well. A lot of those movies. Here you had original low budget horror movies that were being made and were being promoted on a pedestal that were like, hey, these are the 8 movies this year. This is 8 original movies with some old school and new school's genre stars. And hey, some of them are going to be bad, some of them are going to be worthless, some of them are going to be cheap. But at the end of the day, even if we turn out 2 or 3 good ones, I think that's a good track record. It's one of those things. It's like, hey, man, 3 out of 8 ain't even bad. And that's kind of why way I looked at the After Dark Horror Fest films. Like I look at the era that it was in, and I really give it a thumbs up because I was just so sick of the genre at that time, man. Remakes and all the stuff that were coming out, and then sequels to remakes, and just all the stuff that was coming out theatrically at that time, man. I'm gonna kind of go like this: Saw sequels and Hostel sequels, and I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed the originality factor, even if some of these were cliche, like a Dark Ride. I enjoy that over fucking something that rips off Friday the 13th blatantly. Yeah, that was original too, but at least Dark Ride knew what it was. It was a horror film. It had some tongue-in-cheek humor, but it wasn't at the end of the day fucking slapstick humor like Hatchet was, and giving fucking jokes in the last 5 minutes of the movie. If you can't tell, I fucking hate Hatchet. Um, he didn't direct the Sharknado films, but he did direct Big Ass Spider and the Dolph Lundgren film Don't Kill It. Don't kill! Holy shit! Don't kill it! That guy went up to make Don't Kill It. Wow, that's fucking actually wild. That's a movie that's so bad it's great. I kind of enjoy Don't Kill It. Wow, that's a throwback, man. Don't Kill It. I'll have to give that one another watch, man. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Great pick. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Ty Junebug, I'm okay. I want to be honest. I'm still grieving. I lost my favorite guitar player. Oh my god, dude. Rest in peace to fucking Eddie Van Halen. I was so sad about that. I saw that you did a whole stream. It was like 20. I think you did it for over a day. Uh, in tribute to him, man. So yeah, nobody did a better tribute than you did. I'll go out on a limb and say that. And man, Eddie Van Halen was an absolute fucking legend. So may he rest in peace, man. Rest in power to one of the greatest, if not the greatest, guitar player that ever lived, in Eddie Van Halen, man. Rest in power. The director of Autopsy went on to direct Night of the Demons remake. I see. I didn't know that, but he was one of the writers for Mother of Tears. Yeah, that I know. That I know that he went on to help write Mother of Tears. I always thought that was really cool because I'm a huge Mother of Tears guy. In fact, I had it originally in the bucket, but I figured I already reviewed it. I can talk about Mother of Tears though. That may be, man, and I know you love this movie as much as I do. I may watch Mother of Tears on Halloween night. I am such a big fucking fan of that movie. I may have to break that one on Halloween night, man. As that's to me, that's Argento's swan song. It really is. Like I think that's like the perfect movie for him to end his career on. Absolutely love it. It's like he got in a time machine and just somehow returned to form for that one moment in time, for that one movie, for that one scene of Asia Argento walking and turning through the gate and looking at that building in front of her and just terror, man. It's just there's few moments in horror that really hit me like that did. And man, I'm a big fan of that movie. So yeah, that's awesome. They wanted to help write Mother of Tears. That's fucking badass. Actually, I believe Mother of Tears was before Autopsy. So maybe that Mother of Tears got him the job to do Autopsy. I'm not sure how it all played out, but hey, man, I will thumbs up because I like that. I really like Autopsy. That's probably arguably my favorite A Film to Die For. I like Hatchet, but I see your points. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's a gore film, and other than that, I don't know, man. It's just let's hope that Wolfgang Van Halen continue Van Halen, dude. Amen. Thank you. I did the best tribute to him, and shout out to the Soulless Trenchcoat Stay Up All. Dude, holy shit, that's crazy, dude. Y'all, that is a tight connection, man. That's true chemistry. You stay up 24 hours, dude. God bless. Hats off to you, both of y'all. Go back into Pete the Pumpkin now, though. Let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? It's none other than Salem's Lot. Yes, Salem's Lot from, I think, 1979, I believe, and I think Eaten Alive was 77. I always get it confused. I believe Salem's Lot was 1979. Salem's Lot is your classic, awesome Stephen King miniseries vampire film. And it's directed by Tobe fucking Hooper. So you got Stephen King, Master of Horror, Tobe Hooper, Master of Horror, you got David Soul, you got a fucking absolute awesome. One of the best Stephen King adaptation movies ever. And to me, an absolute Halloween and horror classic in Salem's Lot. I have the DVD somewhere. It runs a little lengthy. It is a miniseries, so it runs about 3 hours long. But man, when you talk about a scary Halloween film, a movie that has continuously scared me every time I watch it, and a movie that I've heard so many people say, "Oh man!" Like I know actually Patrick Wilson from the Conjuring films and the Insidious films, he has cited it as his favorite horror movie of all time. So I always thought that was really cool that a guy that went on to be in a lot of horror movies as the lead thought this one was like one of the best when he grew up. I thought that was really cool. Big fan of Salem's Lot though, man. Like I always remember the scene where it's oh my god. It's Jeff, oh my god, what the hell's his damn name? He's also in The Devil's Rejects. I can't think of the actor's name. I want to say Jeffrey. It's not though. He sadly passed away. I can't think of the guy's name, but he's told by his buddy to go down the basement and drop these like chains, and he goes down. Jeffrey Lewis. That's it. Jeffrey Lewis. I'm sorry. I would have been so angry if I couldn't fucking think of that. But yeah, he goes down in the basement, and man, he's fucking shaking, and it's such a scary ass scene as this guy goes down into the basement, and he's creeped out and shaking. And I always remember the Nosferatu vampire kind of scratching on the window, clawing as this little kid kind of looked. And then later on in the film, it's reversed where the little kid is kind of looking to get through the glass. So many great visuals in this movie, and a really good. I know that there's kind of like a little bit of a love story in the beginning of it, like he meets this woman in town and stuff, and they go out to eat and whatnot. Like it is a movie that it's not the fastest pace. Like you could even set it up into 2 nights, like watch part one night, part two the next night. But I would argue to say it's probably Tobe Hooper's second best film he ever made. It's either this or The Funhouse, in my opinion. Hell, even Life Force. I love Life Force, man. Matilda May, love me some Matilda May. But yeah, Salem's Lot, man. It's the perfect vampire film to watch around this time of year. It has just dripping with atmosphere, and I think it's the best atmosphere in any film that he had post Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like it's just such an atmospheric flick, and man, it's creepy. It gets under your skin, and just it's one of those very unsettling movies. Unsettling in the way that a Texas Chainsaw Massacre is, but without really having that sort of a plot. Again, it's a vampire film. It has all the vampire tropes in it. So I think Salem's Lot is a fucking masterpiece. It's one that it has to be watched around this time of year. It's an absolute all-time fucking classic, man. Really, really big fan of Salem's Lot. One of my absolute fucking faves. Aiden says that scene, Mother of Tears, is amazing. Argento's song, dude, 100%. It really is his swan song. To me, it's the best movie for him to end on. Dude, yeah, it is some scary ass TV horror. And believe it or not, I actually have a couple more TV horror films in here. It's amazing to me that was a TV horror film, because like that one, I could watch that and be like, yo, that's a theatrical film. Like it doesn't feel like a TV horror movie to me at all. And that's a good thing in a lot of ways. Salem's Lot, yeah, big fan of Salem's Lot. Actually, never seen Salem Lot. That's something I hope to correct at some point because I love the book. Oh, if you love the book, dude, that's awesome, man. I also know they remade it with Rob Lowe, and that fucking sucked. So definitely watch the original 70s version. But don't watch the Rob Lowe version, because that shit's bad. Dude, R.I.P. Tobe Hooper, one of the best. Yeah, dude, that movie. How much older is that movie than me? Jeez, it has to be like 25 years. Has to be close. I don't know. That's a crazy old movie. Can I ask you for my birthday on Halloween to review Scarlet Cinema Volume 1 and Volume 2 anthology YouTube series I entered? Review. You should. So is it a movie? I'm confused. Like, oh wait, Volume 1 is already out on YouTube. Volume 2 is coming out this month. Just be sure to send me the link to it, good brother. Just send me a link to it. I'll check it out for sure. Life Force is amazing. Probably my favorite YouTuber film besides Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dude, absolutely love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And man, yeah, Life Force is a lot of fun. I think Life Force is just a great. It's like Dan O'Bannon and Tobe Hooper coming together and make a flick. Same year that Dan O'Bannon did Return of the Living Dead. So that's a really, really fun one, man. I'm a big fan of Life Force. But back into Pete the Pumpkin we go. We got a few more here. All right, let's see. Oh, another TV horror film. This is one that I bet you I may be like one of the only goddamn people who have seen this one. And I think it's a crying shame. This one needs to be seen by more people. I fucking love this movie. I believe it was directed by Buzz Kulick, who also did a lot of Twilight Zone episodes. It is none other than, I forget the damn year. I'm sorry, I forget the year, but it is Bad Ronald. Ooh, yeah. I bet everybody's going, Bad Ronald. What the fuck? What is he talking about? Back in the day, I give a little bit of a fucking story with this one. Back in the day, I remember going to conventions. Yeah, remember back in the day when we could go out of the house and not be stuck in this fucking COVID world we live in? Yeah, we're a real throwback. I remember going to convention scenes and always seeing these people selling bootlegs. I actually have the bootleg to this day of Martin. it's a like a VHS transferred to a DVD. I mean, it looks terrible, but hey, I have the movie at least, and I know that by the time fucking that other company releases it on 4K, I'll probably be like 40. Um, but I remember all these people would sell these bootlegs, and one of them I always saw was this little movie called Bad Ronald, and it just the cover struck me. It was this cover of this kid, and half face was black, half was red, and he looked horrified. And I was just like, man, something about that cover always drew me to it. So I picked it up and I put it in, and man, I just thought this was a great TV horror film. It tells the story of this kind of outcast kid named Ronald, and he's picked on, and he has this crush on this girl, and every day he tries to tell her, and she's not nice about it. She's not, oh Ronald, I understand, but I'm not interested. Like, it's not a nice brush off. It's a get away from me, creep, freak, weirdo. And he's crushed by this, and it's really, really sad to watch, like the opening like 30 minutes of this film. You just really kind of see the day in the life of this guy who he means well, but he's just shit on by everybody except his mother. His mother kind of coddles him, takes care of him. And one day, Ronald goes to this girl's house trying to impress her with the gift, and she's not impressed. And one thing leads to another. He accidentally, it's not on purpose, he accidentally ends up killing her, and she bumps her head like by accident, and he freaks out. He runs home. He tells his mom, what do I do, what do I do? And she goes, all right, hold on, I'm going to figure out what we're going to do. For now, I'm going to hide you. So she makes this kind of little apartment for him inside the walls of the house, and she says, listen, we're going to hide you in here. Once everybody forgets about this, once this blows over, you can come out again. We're going to be fine. The mother then goes off one day to have a surgery and ends up dying during the surgery. And then a new family, unbeknownst to where Ronald is, moves into the house, and they don't know that Bad Ronald himself is still in the walls of the house watching them. And this is fucking TV horror at its fucking finest, man. We don't have that big of a budget. We don't have big name star actors. So we're going to make this film as uncomfortable as humanly possible as Ronald is watching them doing laundry, watching them in bed together. And he's kind of being a little bit perverted. And I don't know, man, I just adore Bad Ronald. I think it's a really, really good TV horror film that, again, nobody fucking talks about. It's one of those horror movies that like never ever hear anybody mention it. I see Ty Junebug likes it. I see, yeah, love it, dude. Glad to know there's somebody else who loves Bad Ronald as much as me, because Bad Ronald is just a really, really awesome flick. And I remember first few times I watched it, I was like, this is fucking unreal. Like, what is going on in this movie? I know for years they talked about possibly remaking Bad Ronald. I don't think he can. I think it's a staple of 70s television horror in a similar vein to Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, Crawl Space, not the Klaus Kinski one, but the other one. Movies like that. And movies like there's another one I'm going to get into that's in the Pumpkin. But man, Bad Ronald is an excellent movie to watch around this time of the year. And it's one that I don't want to ruin too much because I feel like a lot of people haven't seen Bad Ronald. And it's one of those movies that I highly, highly, highly recommend. Bad Ronald is just an excellent trip to TV land of horror, if you will. And the performances are really good. It's really creepy. And I don't know, man, I'm a big fan of Bad Ronald. So I definitely highly recommend that one for sure, man. Long live Bad Ronald. Let's see. There's a lot of TV horror that's underrated. One of my favorite, the 70s Christmas slasher, Home for the Holidays. Fun fact, my friend, I've never seen Home for the Holidays, so I would definitely love to check that one out. I'm a big fan of that stuff. And if you don't mind, you can make me the moderator, and I can change the link right here. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it, man. I'd like to hear more about this. I've heard of this, never seen it. I love Bad Ronald, and by the Scarlet Cinema is your horror anthology, all consisting of short films made by YouTuber. Oh, so it's you made a horror film? That's cool. I don't know. Definitely, dude. Definitely tell me more about this because I'm kind of blind. If you can't tell, I got 4 eyes and I'm still kind of blind with this one. So hey, you could direct the Bad Ronald remake. Hey man, I don't know. I don't want to remake that one. That one I fucking love. So back into the hat here. Ooh, we got a Wes Craven gem right here, baby. We got one that I watched about a week or two ago with my grandmother. This is fun fact. This is my grandmother's favorite horror film of all time. And it's not what you're thinking. It's not The Hills of Eyes. It's not A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not The Last House on the Left. It's not Scream. It's not any of the biggies Wes Craven directed. It is none other than The People Under the Stairs. Yes, The People Under the Stairs. Everybody's probably like, that's your grandma's favorite horror movie? I don't know why, but it is. And I remember even from a young age, her going, this is the best fucking horror movie. And she's not a person that likes horror movies very often, but she was like, come sit watch this with me. And it was one of the first Wes Craven films I was ever introduced to was The People Under the Stairs. And this is just an excellent fucking movie, man. Another one that not many people get into. I mean, around this time of the year, everybody kind of want to watch Scream because of the Halloween season. I could totally understand that. But man, The People Under the Stairs, I think it's a really, really good Wes Craven flick. And it basically stars Brandon Adams, who's also in The Sandlot. So you got some Sandlot connections here. The Mighty Ducks. He was a big child actor in the late 80s, early 90s. And I always liked him in movies. And he's the lead. He plays Fool. And he and Ving Rhames, who, of course, went on to be in Pulp Fiction, break into the house of this landlord who is trying to evict Brandon Adams' family. They find out that they have a gold coin collection, a daughter that they pretty much abuse, torture, yell out, that cannot see, speak, or hear evil, and they may just maybe have people living under their stairs. I fucking love this movie. To me, this is like everything a good, lighthearted horror movie should be. And it's an experimental film for Wes, but I think it's a really good horror movie in its own right. And I think it's one of those, it's not a classic status, and it never will probably be on a classic status. It's one that I always go back and watch, and I always feel good after watching it. It's a really good feel good horror movie. And I love the two that play mommy and daddy. I think they're just so much fucking fun. Of course, Wendy Roby as the woman, and oh my God, I always forget his name. He was in they were both in Twin Peaks together as a couple in that. And I'm assuming that Wes Craven saw that and said, I want you two to be in my movie as the couple, mommy and daddy, or brother and sister, as you find out as the movie goes on. But this one just is so much goddamn fun. You have Ving Rhames throwing out great one-liners. 13's a shitty age anyway. Too old to get tit and too young to get ass. I love that's a fucking great line. And there's one scene where he's like, man, maybe Spencer should go help us. And he goes, yeah, maybe the president should make me secretary of pussy. Like, there's some great Ving Rhames one-liners in this. And I like the tongue-in-cheek humor throughout it because while mommy and daddy are funny and they're entertaining, they're also fucking terrifying in a lot of ways. I was terrified of not Margot Robbie. Oh my God. Wendy Robbie, not Margot. Margot Robbie's hot. Wendy Robbie is just another different level of scary. And it has one of my favorite scenes in horror history in it. It has the daughter who she's kind of grows over the film, right? Like she's kind of quiet and shy in the beginning. And then by the end, she's like, let's go. She kind of grows methodically. And she confronts Wendy Robbie's character in the kitchen and she goes, I see you. And Wendy Robbie kind of turns around, and I love how Craven shoots it. He shoots it on kind of an angle, like sort of like the old Adam West Batman cartoons would shoot their villains. Not cartoons, but the Adam West Batman show. They would shoot them on a side angle. Wendy Robbie turns around and goes, and I see you, dearie. Pulls out a big old butcher knife and chases her. And man, I just love that scene. It's just a great scene in horror. And then all of a sudden, all these people under the stairs start busting out of the walls and attacking Wendy Robbie. And man, I have a ball with this one. You have the daddy character running around, that black leather suit, shooting shotguns through the walls, and no one hears a thing. You get the whole story of Roach, and they cut out his tongue because he spoke back and all this stuff. I think this is a great Wes Craven film. And dare I say, it would be near the top 5. Like, it would be Elm Street, Last House, Hills Have Eyes, Scream, and then probably this. I mean, I like Serpent in the Rainbow. I like Shocker. I like the Scream 2 and 3. Hell, I even don't mind Scream 4. There's a lot of good Wes Craven movies out. Deadly Blessing, Deadly Friend. I mean, he made a lot of great movies. He also made a lot of stinkers, like Invitation to Hell, like My Soul to Take, like Cursed. Like, he's made a lot of good, a lot of bad. But man, I don't know. This one would definitely be towards the top for me because The People Under the Stairs is just a fucking classic, man. Totally one that I always like to watch around this time of the year. And it's funny that my grandmother's the one that really turned me on to this one. Oh yeah, no, it's not My Soul to Take. No, thankfully not. People Under the Stairs is amazing. Probably my favorite Wes Craven behind Nightmare. Love the modern fairy tale call. Yeah, it really is a modern fairy tale. In a lot of ways, it's like Robin Hood, stealing from the rich to give so he doesn't get evicted. I think the beauty of The People Under the Stairs is it has a heart. It has such a nice big heart to it, and they don't make movies like that anymore. So I couldn't plug The People Under the Stairs more. Yeah, totally an amazing film. It also has Sean Whalen from Twister, Trench. I know that's your favorite movie, LOL. Getting Trench, I know you hate it. Yeah. How we don't. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, for real, man. I'm a big fan of People Under the Stairs. So got a couple more here. I think. What do we have? I think we have one more. Oh no, there's two more. All right. So there's two more here. I can run through these pretty quick. First up, it's the last TV horror movie on the list. And also, if there's any movies that you want me to briefly discuss in the comments, you totally put them up and I'll briefly talk about my thoughts and stuff because this was a really fun episode, doing all Halloween horror picks, if you will. Because I've been watching much more than this and I'll keep watching much more. Of course, movies like Burnt Offerings, movies like Trilogy of Terror 2, movies like, of course, Mother of Tears, movies like Tenebrae. I mean, movies I've just been trying to watch. The Woods. I really, really love The Woods. That's a great Lucky McKee film that I always watch around this time of the year. So that's definitely, I'll keep going with this for sure. But these are the last two I have in Pete the Pumpkin. And the first one up, it is none other than Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Oh yeah, another 70s TV horror film. This one, I'll be honest, I haven't watched this one in a while. I've been meaning to watch this one. I want to watch later this month for sure. It's a really good movie from what I remember. It was basically this girl and she comes home from a mental asylum. She's kind of wacky and people know she's wacky and kind of make fun of her because she's wacky. And then basically she comes across this girl and she may or may not just be a vampire. And I don't know what it is about this movie. I think it's just some of the cinematography in this one is off the fucking charts. I always remember the one with the girl and she's in the water and she kind of comes up and the mascara like kind of slowly going down her face and she just looks fucking woke. It's a scary fucking visual of this movie. And man, I think this is another. It has its moments of being really fucking scary, man. Like this one, I always remember one called Satan's School for Girls. Like this, the 70s was a great time to do TV horror because you could keep it original, you could keep it creepy, scary, and without showing the gore. And I think that that's why a lot of these TV movies work around this time of the year. Because when I think spooky season, I don't necessarily think gore. I think more like movies that just genuinely frighten me and movies that I can have fun with. And this is one of those movies that just genuinely frightened me. I think Let's Scare Jessica to Death is a pretty underrated gem. And it's one that I want to give it a rewatch sometime this season. That's definitely on my list. So I definitely wanted to give that one a plug on here. And the last one is this one I'd say is a classic. And this one I say is pretty underrated too. And I know that there's definitely a big cult fan base for this now. But when it originally came out, it was pretty hated. And it is from 1990. It is, oh yes, Clive Barker's Nightbreed. Yes, we're going to close the show on this one. Nightbreed is fucking fantastic, man. I think Nightbreed is like, it's arguably Clive Barker's best film, and that's saying a lot because I love Hellraiser. Lord of Illusions is okay. It's not a bad film. I don't know. Lord of Illusions in a lot of ways isn't really that much of a horror film. Like, it has more action and stuff and more of an adventure movie at times to me. But like to me, Hellraiser and Nightbreed are horror movies, and Nightbreed, it's just fantastic. It tells the story of Craig Sheffer, and he's shot and killed by police at the direction of one David Cronenberg, who plays the lead heel in this, who has an excellent, iconic, like slasher mask. And they kill him, and he basically kind of wakes up, and he's in this community of monsters called Midian. And it's just so fantastic because this is what Clive Barker come to the big screen is. You get these really creative, practical looking monsters that, some of them are scary, some of them are mysterious, some of them you want to know more about. Some of them are, one of them is actually Doug Bradley, and weirdly enough, the studio didn't like Doug Bradley's voice and fucking dubbed him out, which is crazy to me. I think that's absolutely fucking absurd. It's just wild. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I think this movie, it has it all. It has the great iconic looks of all these creatures and stuff. It has a great atmosphere and tone to it. The entire movie in taking place pretty much in this graveyard. Really creepy. I like all the characters in it. I thought Craig Sheffer gave a really, really good performance. I thought that even though this is one of those movies that deals with monsters. We learn that the monsters really aren't bad people. It's David Cronenberg that's really the real Skell in this movie. And he gives a wonderful performance considering he's not an actor. He's a guy that made horror movies for a living. I just watched Shivers the other night, which is another really good Cronenberg film. I mean, The Brood is a perfect movie to watch around this time of the year. Love The Brood, Videodrome. I mean, I go up Rabbit. You go on forever with David Cronenberg movies. The Fly. I mean, forever. He's one of the great horror filmmakers of all time. But his performance in this almost steals the whole fucking movie. He is so goddamn creepy in this. And I like how they did these promotional things promoting this movie, and it was him and Clive Barker holding like mutant babies together. I thought that was really wonderful. And this is one of movies that it really makes me sad that Clive Barker didn't direct more after this because of what happened on the set of this movie. The studio gave him numerous problems. They cut the film to shreds. They promoted it like it was a slasher film. If you see the original one sheet of this movie, it's actually a stab in the back to what the movie is. It's basically promoting it as, oh, this girl doesn't know what happened to her boyfriend, blah, 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 and she's looking through the blinds. It looks like a slasher movie it's so goddamn lame. It really is. That poster and what happened and the whole story of behind the scenes. It's really a shame what happened with this movie. And it's a shame that I think it really turned Clive Barker off of filmmaking because he was like, if I can't let this be my own, then I don't want to touch this anymore. And it's a shame because once you see the movie, the director's cut, I have the director's cut blue from Shout Factory, and it's fantastic, man. It's like 2 hours long. It's not the Cabal cut, it's the 2 hour long cut. Um, it's a wonderful movie, and it has so much to say and so many themes and it's so much creativity, and it shows you that Clive Barker was so much more than just a gore guy, and there's a lot of directors that they took pride in being gore guys, but Clive Barker was really a creative genius, and I know Stephen King always dubbed him as the future of the horror genre. And man, this is one of those movies you watch it and go, this is some kind of a direction I'd like to see the genre take. And it's a shame that it didn't, and it's a shame that what happened. But man, this is one I always watch around October season because it's just wonderful. It creates and welcomes you into this whole world. And man, it's just so much to take in. It's almost breathtaking as you take in this world of Midian. And it has this whole really fun, climatic, ending with all this big shootout in the graveyard. And man, it's really epic. It has a very epic feel at the end. And I always love the final shot. The final shot always just hits me right in the feels, right in the heart. And it really begs the audience member to answer, would they stay with Craig Schiffer's character or would they go out and be a human being and move on from this magical, mystical world? It questions the viewer. Do you choose fantasy or do you choose reality? And I think Clive Barker is just absolute fucking evil genius, if you will. And man, I love Nightbreed. I'm a big fan. And it's one I'm definitely going to watch around this time of the season. Always one I like to watch around Rocktober season. So that is Nightbreed. That is all of the movies I had in the pumpkin. I don't know how many I did, but I want to thank Pete the Pumpkin for that, holding them all. This was a fun ass show to do. I'll check out the comments here. Let's see. Let's see. Since it's on YouTube, I can leave a link in the chat if you make me a moderator for Scarlet Cinema. I don't have any social media to really send you. So how do you know how I do that, Ty? I don't know. How do I make somebody a moderator? If anybody could tell me how, I really don't know. Nightbreed was really good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Nightbreed. Nightbreed is in my top 10 horror films of all time. I love it. Perfect monster film. Dude, it really is because it really, again, it's one of those movies where who are the real monsters? Is it these creatures in the graveyard or is it these fucking skells on the outside? And I always loved that style of storytelling, man. It's really, really good. I'm sorry, I skipped that one. Midian is my favorite Cradle of Filth album. Dude, that's crazy. I didn't know you like Cradle of Filth. That's awesome. They rule. Nightbreed is probably my favorite Clive Barker film, but I do love Lords of Illusions and Hellraiser. Yeah, he's awesome. It's a shame he only directed 3 films, but man, he definitely made them count, especially Nightbreed and Hellraiser. Those two really are amazing. That's why I love it. Monsters are not primarily villains. Some are good, some are bad, and some are in between. It makes them human. It makes them very human and varied. Should get a sequel, dude. Yeah, it's one of those that they probably could have done a show of it. way back when. But now we're 30 years later, and it's just, I know that there's a cold audience, but I don't know, man. It's just a shame that I would have liked to see how that movie would have done if the studio didn't promote it like a fucking slasher film, which it's not. They promoted it like this is a slasher film. Come see this slasher film because they were still fucking stuck in the late 80s. They could not move on from where horror had left off in 89. And it's just a shame because this would have, who knows, maybe it would have fucking taken this in a new direction. It's just one of those typical studio things. Like they had to meddle in it, they had to destroy it. You know, Clive Barker's a genius, and he loved this. And man, I think they pretty much scared him away. I know he's never said that, but in my humble opinion, I really do. I believe they scared him away. I think they scared him away from filmmaking because if he didn't have total creative control, I don't know. Videodrome is my favorite Cronenberg film. Dude, I would probably agree with that. That and The Brood are like The Brood, I think, is so fucking underrated. I love The Brood. I'm still waiting for the Criterion Blu-ray to drop from $40, man. That's crazy. It's too much money. Could you talk about The Car from the 70s? If you've seen it, I find it very underrated. I prefer it over Christine. That is one I have not seen in years, so I couldn't do it justice. I don't remember disliking it. I remember liking the film, and Christine is one I really like. So I really, that's a big John Carpenter film that I'm a big fan of. So I enjoy Christine a lot. I think that's a really, really good one. Clive Barker is a genius. I wish he made more than 3 films. Yeah, he really is. I do too. So click on my name and click add moderator. It says put user in timeout or block user. It doesn't let me. So I right click? No. Click there. No, it won't let me make you. Maybe I need more subscribers to me. I don't know. I don't know, man. If you want, you could always just message me later. I'm sorry. I have no idea. I'm not as tech savvy as most people. I heard they're bringing Nightbreed back for a show. I'm excited but worried with the CGI heavy attacks of this age. Yeah, I think to me, Nightbreed, you can only do it with one guy, and that's Clive Barker, and it has to be creative and practical like the old movie was. And I think that's the beauty of it, man. That's the beauty of Nightbreed is the look of that film and all the practicality of the monsters. I don't know if that movie would have worked even in 1998. They probably would have been half of them would have been CGI. Can't do that, man. You're taking away from the artist's form, and that's the last thing you want to do with a movie like that because I'm a big fan of Nightbreed, and I think the less that studio or whatever can touch of it, the better because that's Clive Barker's baby, not yours. And hell, I'll just throw Cronenberg in there because he steals the whole movie, man. He really does. Can you talk about Mother of Tears for a little bit? It's a little underrated fun. Dude, absolutely. I swear I was gonna put it in here. And I just was like, I've reviewed it on the show before, but absolutely, man. Mother of Tears is an absolute fucking great movie in my opinion. And I know that with this movie you can kind of start backwards, right? Like so a lot of people say after 1987 that Dario Argento really lost his oomph. He lost his edge. He lost that style. And a lot of people will say anything post opera 87. So starting with Two Evil Eyes in 1990, that he didn't make movies as good as he had made in the 70s and the 80s. I've always disagreed with that. Always. I mean, Two Evil Eyes, I'm not really considering the two names involved. That movie should be way better, in my opinion. It's not a bad movie, but it's a movie that I expected so much more. And I feel like that is a case, not being hypocritical here, but if it was made in the 70s, I think they would have turned out something much better. And I think they should have went with their own stuff, not Edgar Allan Poe. I felt like those two doing Edgar Allan Poe, not the right choices. Really not. Like I saw Stuart Gordon do Edgar Allan Poe, do the same Black Cat segment in Masters of Horror, and I thought he hit it out of the park. Argento's Harvey Keitel, it's okay. It's okay. Moving on to movies like Trauma. I love Trauma. Moving on to the Stendhal Syndrome. Love the Stendhal Syndrome. Sleepless. Love it. Phantom of the Opera is shitty. It's bad. The Card Player, some good, some bad. I don't think it was all bad. Like some people think after 87, he just fell off a cliff. I don't fucking feel that way at all. I think he made some good movies. I watched Trauma and the Stendhal Syndrome till I die. I love those movies. But everybody and their mother was putting him down, and everybody was like, well, he's going to make the third one now. Come on, this is bullshit. And when it came out, it got shit on too, and to this day it gets shit on. oh, it's not in the same breath as Suspiria and Inferno. It doesn't have the same style. It wasn't made around the same time. It doesn't have the same atmosphere. I completely disagree with those people. I can respect their opinion. I know that a lot of people are huge, huge, huge on Inferno and Suspiria. And I mean, Inferno, I like. Suspiria, I love. I adore Suspiria. But man, I gotta be honest, I love and adore Mother of Tears as well. It stars Asia Argento, and man, it's the story of the third mother, the Mother of Tears, Mother Lechiriarum. If you, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but yeah, and it's the mother with the L in it, you know. Um, and basically this movie, it's just wild. It's a lot of fun. You have a scene where this woman is going crazy and she takes her baby and she throws it off the side of a bridge and into a fucking creek. I remember being the kid, I was like, holy fucking shit. The gore in this movie, off the charts. It's brutal, it's violent, it earns its unrated rating. It has Udo Kier getting meat cleavered in the face about 100 times, just blood spewing everywhere. It's an insane fucking gore fest of a film. And I think that people that say this doesn't have the atmosphere, what are you talking about? It's like that motherfucker got in a time machine, rewinded the clock all the way back to 1976 in between Deep Red and Suspiria and said, hey, man, I'm going to make this now. And man, that's why I love Mother of Tears. It is a movie that when all these people and the marks will say, oh, Halloween, the new one is a return to form. That's not a return to form. This is a return to fucking form. It's like that son of a bitch was making this in the 70s. And Aja gives a great performance, and the fucking atmosphere drips off the screen. It drips off the screen. The cinematography is gorgeous. The kills are violent and brutal and random, like they were in the first two movies. The fucking it's so sick to me that a lot of people just hate this movie and really rag on it. I don't know, man. And I was talking to you about that scene earlier when Aja is about to enter that building in the final act. It was in that moment that I was like, this is why Dario Argento is the greatest filmmaker to ever live. It's a scene like this. Because all these years later, when all the naysayers and all the critics said, you don't have it anymore, Dario, he still had it. He still got it. He proved that there was something left in the tank. And regardless of whatever happened after with Giallo, which is a piece of shit, and Dracula 3D, which is a monumental piece of shit that looks like it was shot by a fucking softcore filmmaker. It really does. It looks like a softcore porn film. I'm not even kidding. And it has fucking worse CGI than a softcore porn film would have. If they do have, I don't know. But man, I don't know. Those two movies are horrible. But to me, man, this was his last great day as a director, his last great day in the sun, and his last real, to me, a movie that you could say, oh, opera was the last good thing he ever touched. No way, man. I'd hold up Trauma, I'd hold up the Stenhall, I'd still hold up Sleepless, and I'd hold up the Mother of Tears because I think that movie, it really surprised me. It shocked me, and I thought that it was a really incredible feat for him to come back and prove everybody wrong. And man, that's why I'm a big fan and supporter of Mother of Tears, because long live Dario Argento. I thought it was an amazing film, so highly recommend that one. I may just watch that on Halloween night because I love that movie personally. I mean, okay, yeah, sure. I will try to email you, my friend. Absolutely, sounds good. Yes, dude. Yeah, it has to be practical. It really does. Another one I like this time of year, both the OG and remake of 13 Ghosts. They really get me in the mood. Oh, dude, Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead's great, man. That scene where Lance Henriksen looks at the kids after what had happened to his son. That is the best acting he ever gave in his entire career. Just that look of anger and despair and disdain. And man, it's just a fucking wonderful performance by Lance Henriksen. He just gives it his all. It really hits you in the feels. That's a really, really good movie. As for 13 Ghosts, I've seen both the original and remake. The remake, I remember being like batshit crazy with fucking the guy from Monk, Tony Shalhoub, and Shannon Elizabeth and fucking Matthew Lillard. I haven't seen that in a long time. I know that's the same guy who did Ghost Shit, which I hate. And I fucking despise Ghost Shit. I think Ghost Shit is a piece of fucking garbage, man. That's a piece of shit movie. But yeah, man, for sure. You can never go wrong with those like 60s, late 50s horror movies like Carnival of Souls, 13 Ghosts, anything, William Castle or, the legendary fucking, why I can't think of his damn name. Uh, House on Haunted Hill. Holy shit. Vincent Price. Jesus, I couldn't think of his damn name. I brain farted there. But yeah, anything with Vincent Price, anything from that era is really good to watch around this time of the year. Two Evil's Eyes is fine, but it's not, yeah, it should. It really, it's one of those movies. It is fine. It's not bad, but it's like not that great either. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's like it's just it's passable. But like I don't know. And with the Black Cat segment, I think that Stuart Gordon did a better job. I really do. I really do. Like the Romero segment, it's okay. It's all right. I think the Argento segment is just a little all over the place. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm due for a rewatch on that one for sure. Trauma, Stendhal Syndrome, all great. 100% agree, man. Really like those movies. I haven't seen the later Argento movies in those years, so I don't have a current opinion on them. Yeah, man. I the ones I mentioned, I highly recommend. I know that if people watch The Phantom of the Opera and Dracula 3D and Giallo, I understand where you're coming from with people that say, "Oh, Argento's a hack and he doesn't have it anymore." That's fine. But man, I don't know. I don't see how you could watch Mother of Tears and go, "Oh, well, it's a piece of shit and it's not anywhere near the first two movies." And that's what a lot of people's opinions are. And I just think that's blasphemy because you watch that movie, it has everything that those first two movies does, except it wasn't made in the 70s or the 80s. So people just automatically, I feel like, hate it for that. And that's not fucking fair. When the guy came out and gave you everything that he did in those other two movies, I don't know. I just don't get the backlash, man. I just don't get people sometimes. That's one I'll forever be baffled on. Yeah, 2018 isn't a return to form at all. It doesn't capture that same feel of the OG. It has some cool callbacks and scenes, but it doesn't have that magic. Exactly. See, the second film has magic. The third film has magic. Hell, even the fourth and fifth film have that atmosphere that the first one had. The sixth one it feels grungy. It feels 90s, but at the same time it has its own feel to it too, whereas H2O, it's like, all right, this is Scream with Michael Myers in a shitty looking mask played by the worst one, Chris Durand. uh, I don't care for H2O. I don't really, after six, I honestly don't care for any of them. Like I don't like watch any of them after six, like, and go, oh man, I love this one. Like no, I really don't. Like to me it's 1 through 6. To me that's 1 through 4 is the best. 5 and 6, I can get enjoyment out of. 5 is horrible in spots, but for some reason, it's the last Halloween film that has that atmosphere that the first four have. I don't know why, but it is. It definitely, maybe because it was an 80s film. I don't know. Yeah, Lance kills it very well done. I love how smart the plot is. Not just a dumb monster film. There's a pretty good story. Like, yeah, it is. And Stan Winston, I believe it's the only film he ever directed. So hats off to Stan Winston. He is an absolute fucking uh, legend in the horror genre. So absolutely love Lance Henriksen. Dario Argento's direct Twister too. I don't know. I know I've heard he tried to make something else. He's trying to make something else, but then the COVID outbreak happened. So I don't know if we'll ever get that something else. It was called like Black Sunglasses or something, and it was going to be with Aja as the final girl. It was going to be a Giallo. So I was really excited for that. But now I don't. It's all up in limbo because Italy was like literally quarantined. So I don't think he made anything. Uh, I forgot to mention Dario's amazing output in Masters of Horror. Oh, definitely. I love both of those episodes too. Pelts is a lot of fun. I know Neon Black Reviews should be getting to Pelts very soon. I'll be love to hear his thoughts on that one. Say because he said he hadn't seen that many Dario Argento films in the modern era. But Pelt's a lot of fun. I believe he liked Jennifer. I saw his review for Jennifer, and he pretty much put it over. It was cool that Claudio Simonetti came back to do the music for that one too. That was really really cool to see. I'm behind on Giallos. I've only seen a few. I'll have to see more. One I can recommend for you, my friend. It's called Blood and Black Lace, directed by the legendary Mario Bava. It is fucking wonderful, man. To me, in my opinion, if I could put my quote on the DVD, if you will, if Scream and Suspiria had a baby, it would be Blood and Black Lace. Watch the film. Let me know what you think because that movie, absolutely fucking fantastic. Blood and Black Lace. That's a really, really good Giallo film. I highly recommend. Hey, come on, guys. Halloween H2O. It's not called Halloween. It's called Halloween Water because it's a watered down Michael Myers and obvious joke. Yeah, I don't know. I will say this. That movie does the Laurie Strode character better. Like you feel her anger, you feel her PTSD. I liked Josh Hartnett way better than Judy Greer. Um, I think that aspect of that movie is good, and I think the finale is fun. Other than the bullshit. Oh well, she didn't really kill him in Resurrection, whatever. It's funny because I can't watch that finale now without thinking about, oh well, that's not Michael. I hate that. Like I feel like the series really should have ended there. But I don't know. I feel like the first hour is a bad kind of attempt to remake the first one, and it feels like Scream. I don't know. That movie, very, I don't know, hasn't aged on me well at all, for sure. Yeah, I thought Argento was dead. I guess I'm out of. I guess I'm thinking of Fulci. I get them confused sometimes. Yeah, Fulci has passed on. But Lucio Fulci is a fantastic filmmaker too. And if you want to look for one of his movies to watch around this time of the year, House by the Cemetery. That's the way I go. That's one of my favorites. Love Pelts, Meatloaf. Oh my god, dude, I love Meatloaf, man. He is an absolute fucking legend. And when he makes his little skin coat for her, I mean, that is absolutely fucking classic. Gotta love that. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Love Bay of Blood and haven't seen Surprise. Oh, dude, absolutely, man. Oh, Suspiria probably, man. But yeah, man, those are awesome movies, both of those. Let's see. Halloween 6 is still my favorite. I like the whole cult angle with it. I think it could have been a lot creepier. Yeah, I think it's a movie that you do get the idea there were too many cooks in the kitchen, and you have a producer's cut and a director cut, or a theatrical cut, if you will. But I do think, and I know people will hate me for this, I always like the theatrical cut better. Like when I saw the producer's cut, I think I was expecting more, and I was just like, you tone down the gore, you really destroyed the ending. I hate the ending of the producer's cut with the fucking rocks. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh god, don't even get me started on that bullshit ending. I like the ending where Paul Rudd beats the fuck out of Michael Myers with a fucking pipe to the point where he bleeds green and shit. I was like, what the fuck? I remember as a kid being like astonished by that. I was like, damn. I was like, this is fucking absolutely out of control. And to me, I thought it was a good ending. And I think I respect Halloween 6 too, because it was the last one with Donald Pleasance. Halloween has not been the same without Donald Pleasance. And you can get your Dr. Sartains of the world, your Malcolm McDowell's of the world, your fucking whatever they're going to do in Halloween Kills in a year from now. You can't replace that son of a bitch. You can't do it. He made that series great because the one constant we had of those 6 films was Michael Myers and Donald Pleasance together. It wasn't Jamie Lee in all 6. No, it was Jamie Lee in the first 2. And it wasn't Danielle Harris in all 6. It was Danielle Harris in 4 and 5. It's Donald Pleasance continuously reminding you why we should be afraid of the boogeyman. And I think no matter what they try to do and replace him, and what we could plug this guy in where Loomis would be, you can't do it. You can't. You're better off not fucking touching it because he's passed on. May he rest in power. I believe his birthday just passed. He would have been 100 years old or something like that. I believe somebody told me. You can't replace him. Stop fucking trying to replace him. You can't. Is that he put those movies over for me. I tell you, this isn't a man. It's evil on 2 legs. It's Samhain. It means the Lord of the Dead. Halloween isn't goblins, ghosts, or witches. It's the unconscious mind. I can't beat Donald Pleasance. You can try all you want, but you can't fucking do it. That's just my 2 cents on that, man. Love H2O. Yeah, exactly. It's hard though. When I watch that fucking ending, I'm always like, well, that wasn't him. We find out. I don't know. It's one of those things I can't unsee it, but I know what you mean. It doesn't hurt H2O. Resurrection doesn't hurt H2O. Resurrection hurts itself enough. The original song for Halloween 6 by Black Sabbath, Across the Bones. That would have been cool. Definitely would have been cool for sure, man. Pleasance is Loomis for life. 101, dude. May he rest in peace for sure. But all right, everybody, this was a really fun show. Thank you everybody in the comments, man. There were so many people here tonight. Ty Junebug made a return. Thank you so much for checking out my show. I appreciate it. Soulless Trenchcoat, Aiden Vabra, Neon Black Reviews. I hope I don't forget anybody. I think Ryan was here. AJ was here. If I forget anybody, I just honest forgot. So I still love you and everything. Elm Street Warrior. Elm Street Warrior was here too. So that was the person I was forgetting. Thank you all for watching. This was a lot of fun. I have a little bit of announcement to make before I leave. Next week, I'm going to be doing a collaboration with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. He's asked me, came out and was like, hey, man, I want to do a show with you. So we're going to do a show. I don't know if we're going to do it on this channel or on his channel. So if we do it on his channel, I can plug his channel right here. He already has plenty of subscribers. So I bet you're all subscribed to him already. He is Mr. Need Gore. He's been doing an awesome Halloween retrospective. I'll be on his channel or my channel next week. Wherever we'll be together doing a collaboration episode talking all things horror, all things spooky season, all things together. So Mr. Nigor, I look forward to being with you. I hope you look forward to entering my graveyard And I just want to say thank you so much for everybody that watched. So adios. Have a wonderful, safe, happy weekend. Keep it creepy. Keep it with Pete the Pumpkin over here. You know, all that good stuff. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all later. Too sweet. Peace and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye, guys. This is going to be one of those things where the stream doesn't end again. This is going to be one of those things where the fucking stream doesn't end. Why must this happen to me? I was trying to hold the free frame as long as I could. Oh, having trouble ending my broadcast is what it tells me. Get to an hour and a half this way at least. What is the? I don't understand. They can't end my broadcast. Oh, I guess I could look at the comments. Great stream, man. That was fun. Stay frosty. You stay frosty too. Great stream, man. Love the picks. Thank you. Corey is awesome. Yeah, Corey's the man. If you doesn't work, moderator Corey's channel, I can just leave it. Oh yeah, dude, 100%, absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to end this fucking stream. I don't know what the fuck. I guess if I exit out, it will. I don't know. I don't want to fucking. Oh, never a dull moment. Why won't this end? Okay, we're gonna just